Hello. I got this little girl. It's just gonna do its own thing. Look at ding. I've tried to pull it up because I washed my hair. But yeah. Hey Dana. Thank you for coming in and watching me play with my hair. Put a shawl on because it's a little bit chilly. It's alive. It's alive. I'm alive. Hello, everyone. I'm doing good. Pressing all the buttons. Oh my goodness. What a day. Hello, Lexi. So I said something. I did say something. And what I said was that in Calgary about the I've missed you too, Dana. Um the lovely water main, get my freaking head straight. The water main that burst, and I kind of said that it was, I think there's something more going on. Oh, Mateus has to come and say hi. Say hi, Mateus. Hi. Okay. So I mentioned about the water main and I knew something more was up. Guess what? They found more leaks. So yeah, they found more leaks. All right, go. And they found more leaks, and so I figured it was going to be I predicted at least a month or so because I think there's something more sinister at hand. But hey, allegedly, that's what I think. But Neptune is at the very end. Now, this is why I don't believe in in a cusp. Like, when people say, I'm a cusp baby. I'm like, no, you're not a cusp baby because either you're in or you're out. You can't be in between. Neptune right now is at 29 degrees and 51 seconds, meaning that it's at the very end of Aries or very end of Neptune, almost into Aries, but it's not in there. It's like saying that, oh, I'm in Calgary, but I'm still in Airdrie. No, you're not in Calgary, you're in Airdrie, right? You can't be until you cross the line, then you're in Calgary, right? So, so this is where as my hair is all falling down, we are at the last seconds, but it will not go into Aries. Um, it won't go in there till probably well, probably I'll never go. No, we'll go in there next year. But this is where you're going to get a lot of wishy-washy kind of energy. You're going to get a lot of people trying to figure things out. Could be argumentative. This is where, and especially the moon is in Libra. Libra wants to have the balance, the diplomat, but you have the South Node there, and the South Node being the back end of the dragon. So there's a lot of shit coming out. So you got, you're trying to get diplomacy with a lot of shit. Does that sound familiar? Trying to get diplomacy or get to the truth of things, and there's a bunch of shit. Well, have you looked at Canada's parliament lately? And what Turban Boy was saying? Man. So there's a lot of things that are trying to get diplomacy, and RPM is in Italy right now at the G7 summit with a bunch of other idiots who nobody likes, and one who keeps wandering off and has to be brought back because he doesn't know where the fuck he is. So it's diplomatic. This is very sensitive. This is a very sensitive point, right? Fell out with my niece, called her out for being opportunist and not using my friends, and don't care for feelings are hurt. Woo! Ooh, the Virgo. Yes, but this is it. It's you don't have to have all the answers. We're going to try and have all the answers. But this is where things can get really kind of cray cray. Usually on the weekends, you don't get a lot of news. They usually They try to hush all the news, but I think there's going to be some how things are just going to erupt over the next little while. And then we have a geomagnetic storm brewing on the sun. Let's just add that into it, where in some places you'll be seeing the aurora borealis. I'm saying some really big names today. So I mean, the moon is really that inner is trying to get things chilled, trying to get the, as it's making these trines over to the other air signs, it really wants to bring in some peace, some tranquility. It wants to, if anybody like Libra, if a bunch of people are arguing, the Libra those is the one who's going to come in and be the diplomatic. I see it all the time with my son Owen. Like Owen comes in and Olivia's saying something, Eddie's saying something, and he'll come in like, why can't we just have harmony? We're family and let's just get together and be more considerate of one another, right? And that's the Libra energy, right? It wants to bring forth that balance, yet it's having a very difficult time because we just had that Gazini with the Mercury and Sun coming together, and in Gemini, and you have it's past the Sun now, meeting up with Venus. It'll meet up with Venus on Monday, and Venus is making a square over to Neptune from Gemini. So we got mutable air hitting mutable water. So if you think about it, if you got a lot of air swirling around and a lot of water that is just boundless. So a lot can come in, a lot of information, a lot of words could be said, and not everything will always be heard because you could be muffled, like with the water being muffled, not hearing things right. So this is very sensitive, a very sensitive type of energy. Now, got a story for you, and maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Anyways, I got to tell this. Do you guys know the story about David and Goliath? David was, I think he was the fourth son or the youngest son. I don't know. Okay, I'm not biblical, but just hang on with me. Don't go anywhere. I know it's a Bible story. People, oh my God, it's the Bible story. But anyways, David and Goliath. And plus, I love this story. So, David, for his dad, is the sheep herder. He's the guy who has to take care of the sheep. Now he doesn't get a sword. He doesn't get, like a gun or anything else to take care of the sheep. Now the sheep are worth money, right? You earn like you got to make sure that your sheep are good. You got to, fight them off from bears and wolves and everything else. And David's a good boy. He listens to his daddy. Now his three older brothers are warriors. They're big guys. We're the big guys. Now you think of the dynamics of like David isn't really the big guy. He's not the same as his brothers who are big fighting warriors. And they're fighting the Philistines. Now, during that time, everybody went out on, who would go out on the battlefield. And his dad was said to him, hey, why don't you go bring some food to your brothers? Because they're out on the battlefield, and bring them something, for them to eat. And I think it was Saul was the king at the time. You guys can check up or just was king at the time. But he's there. Now there's this big dude, Goliath. Now they talk about how big he is, and they like he's a giant. He's over 7 feet tall. He's got all this armor on him, and he's got a great big sword, that weighs a lot. And he's got his armor and everything else, and his shield, and even has he's armor on his legs and everything else. So he's a big muscular dude. He's the head dude. But he goes and he says, okay, let's just fight one another. Let's just fight one another. You pull somebody from your group and we'll fight. They'll fight me, and whoever wins the battle. It's kind of a roll of the dice because you're like looking at this guy. Goes back, and here is, little David. I'm gonna call him little David, giving his stuff, and he's hearing all of this, right? And these guys are like, oh yeah, I could do it, or maybe I won't do it, right? And and then you get where I'm talking about David and Goliath. Then you get David, and he's like, he gets this passion inside of himself, and just sort of like, I'll do it. And of course, you got the big brothers there that are just like, who do you think you are? Like, you're my little brother. You just tend sheep, you know? And it's like, David's like, but I do more than tend sheep. I got to fight off all of this, right? I got to fight off the wolves, and I got to fight off the lions and everything, and all I got is a slingshot, right? I have to do that. I have skills, bro. And his brothers are like, yeah, well, I have skills. Look at my sword. Look at me. I'm muscular. And David's like, no, I'm going to go fight him. And he goes off. And of course, as he gets on there, he is only a small portion to what, Goliath is, because he's supposed to be a giant, a big guy. And David comes in, no way, hey, I could take you. But he feels this is like almost like what he feels he's called to do. He's feeling he's called to this big battle. This battle that I am going to go up against this Goliath, this big mountain that I don't even, I don't know, but I'm going to do it. And he does. He wins. Goliath falls, to the amazement to everybody. And everybody's just like, oh, what the fuck? Like, who the fuck is this kid who did this? And the reason I'm telling the story is because with the energies that are right now, and it kind of rang through to me, um, the story is that we do a lot of things in our life, right? That are preparing us for the big battle, right? And preparing us for this battle in our life. And a lot of things that we do on a regular basis, right? Um, oh, what book is it in? I'll have to look that up. It's I think it's in the book of Saul, first book of Saul or the book of Kings. Um, in this energy that comes through, um, I'll find out, David. Oh, first book of Saul, chapter 27. Thank you. Yeah, I knew it was either Saul or King. So the book of Saul. That's okay. Or 17. Thank you. Um, the thing is that David, all he does is tend sheep, but he's doing stuff every day to prepare. He's fighting off, lions, he's fighting off tigers or bears or whatever else is around there, right? And it's preparing him for the big battle. We have to look around in our own life at what things are preparing us for the big battle. What is preparing you? Like, we don't know what the big battle is, but we know there's one that's coming. So a lot of things that we are doing within our own lives, of how we interact with people, it could, our social skills, how we are preparing for the big battles that are about to come upon our lives. And the big battles could be not necessarily from the outside world, but there could be other battles that might be coming into our lives that are unexpected, that we don't know about. But we have been many little things in our lives have led us to help us to prepare. And this is where, and especially with this energy, these frequencies that are coming in, is getting us to do sort of a chilling vibe. And this chilling vibe is getting us to say, you know what, this is a chill weekend. This isn't a weekend to go and try and figure shit out. It isn't a weekend just to be, you know, like stand still, you know. It's still a weekend to get out, but to chill, to get out, to interact, to go maybe to a park, maybe to walk around the river or the ocean or the lake. This is a weekend to really connect and allow yourself to have that chill time, because there are things that are going to be unfolding for us in the many days and months coming ahead that are preparing us for the big battle. And as we are getting prepared for all of this, we need to allow for what we are doing, no matter what it is, to ask for that guidance from your God, your divine, your universe, whomever you call for your God, and asking for that divineness to come forth for you so that you are going to be prepared. And in that preparedness, this is going to allow for you to step forward into the crazy cosmic storms that are going to be coming upon us in our daily lives, in our in our weeks. So this is all a day of preparation. And in preparing, it is not to overreact, not to get our, get our shit in a knot. you know, it's not to try and cause an argument or try and figure things out to say, I got to know the answer right now. It's a time to say, okay, I need to take some chill time, take some breaths, and maybe even take a moment and do some journaling, putting your hands on your heart and asking your God, which way do I need to go to, right? And need to get back into my spirituality, being so focused on the Muggle world only. Yeah, I mean, but the thing we all do, and that's the thing. It's like even it being focused in the Muggle world. I'm glad you brought that up, Dana. That's so beautiful. Hello, Derek. Is that say you have to fold laundry, right? Do you have to fold it? Well, it's kind of nice to have folded sheets or folded, towels and matching your socks. But in doing that and helping you to prepare for whatever is giving it up to the Holy Spirit. And if you ever go to an ashram, right? When you go to an ashram, everybody is equal. Like, you might not think that because you see people who have been there for a while, and they seem to not have to do the menial jobs, but they did do the menial jobs. Everybody has to scrub the toilets. Everybody has to wash the floor and the walls. Everyone has to do that because nobody is higher or lower, but it's preparing. If people didn't do these little jobs, cleaning the toilet or washing the floor, I mean, could you imagine if you didn't clean the toilet, if you didn't clean your bathroom and you just let it? It'd be pretty freaking gross, right? But it's preparing so that you have something clean. Washing the dishes, you want to be able to have a dish so that you can eat off of. And so it's preparing. Everything is preparing for things that are coming forward. And we have to allow ourselves to find joy, exactly, girl from foreign, joy in that moment, right? And find that. And with Neptune so at the very edge of Pisces, right there, causing crazy storms, emotional storms within us, emotional times. People are getting very upset, very overwhelmed with it all. I mean, we are having craziness happening in the world right now, and that we're feeling that pressure. We're having craziness. I mean, I don't know how much more our government in Canada can take. I mean, when you have information coming out about MPs that are treasonous. Now, I know in times in the past when things like that were happening, Parliament would be dissolved, everything would be dissolved, the government would be dissolved. And there would be somewhat not a takeover, but there would be like, okay, we gotta dissolve everything and dismantle so that we can regroup. So it's like lowering of the flag And lowering of the flag means that, okay, we are lowering the flag so we can come together, so we can revamp, and we can reconvene within the next 30 to 60 days. And then have an election that is actually overseen by, unfortunately, military. That's just there's more to it in my thoughts and stuff like that. It can be done without gunshot, without anything, anybody being killed. But there's this that there's a preparedness that is getting us, right? And this preparedness is getting us to really look at that we are going to be in a battle that is coming. But in order for us to be prepared for this battle, we have to be prepared within our own selves, especially spiritually, in our own connection, and how we are connecting not only to our heart, right? Connecting to our heart and to ourselves, but also connecting to those around us, right? Connecting to what we are doing, and making everything that we do a blessing, and blessing it all, and blessing it with love and light and true, and as we bless it with love and light, and allowing for that frequencies to flow through, then we are able to, when the battle comes, we are going to be fortified and ready to go, even when we might just have a slingshot. And the slingshot is knowing, right? That, you know what, I might have a slingshot and you might have the biggest sword in the world. But you know what? I'm damn fucking good with my slingshot. And I know how to utilize my slingshot. You might feel like you have so many pressures or things that are coming upon you, but knowing that you have that within you, that you can overcome whatever is coming forward. And sometimes it feels like a fucking mudslide coming down. And this is where it's like, okay, I need to allow myself to step aside, allow the mudslide, allow it to come. And when it settles, then I'm going to figure shit out. But I can't start digging out of a mudslide in the middle of the mudslide. I just can't. There's going to be things that I'm going to have to do. There's going to be steps that I'm going to have to do in order to get it done. So there is a lot that's coming in for us, but knowing that today and this weekend is a chill weekend, getting you prepared for things that are going to be unfolding for us all. And in doing that, it's preparedness. That could be that you're going to the plant store and going to go buy some seeds. That could be that you're off and you decide to just go have a picnic in the park. That could be that you just decide, you know what, I'm going to do some canning this weekend. Whatever it is, right? Because to you, that's a chill weekend, right? I'm not ready to leave Earth yet with our married kids, family. Yeah, because we're all in this together. Father's Day is this weekend. Yes, Father's Day. Got double eye cataract surgery Tuesday. Nervous, but much needed. Right on. Right on. I'm glad. I was going to ask you, Dana, how things were going. So that's, see, it's a blessing. Now now you can get it fixed, right? And in getting it fixed is half the battle, right? And stepping forward with it. So that's absolutely that's really good news. That's positive news. So I have my sale on right now. 3 readings for $200, or 2 readings for $150, or 1 reading for $100. My readings are usually $180 to $200. So great sale. It's my summer sale, and so if you're interested, please DM me or email thegurumama@gmail.com. So this is a time, I think, just to be in a chill. So on that chill, we're going to bring in the healing of the fairies. We're going to bring in this deck. Okay. And yeah, but one of the reasons I'm doing like 3 is that I find after somebody gets a reading done, they have a lot more questions. So then you could book in. I know a lot of intuitives or psychics say, don't, do it once a year or do it whenever. I find sometimes because energies are changing, so is you still need a little bit of coaching or a little bit more understanding of the scenarios that are happening in your life, right? And giving you that sort of oomph that you need to get through it, and an understanding. And plus the transits are constantly changing and causing freaking havoc on your chart in some way. It's like Pisces. Where's Pisces in your chart? um for me, Pisces is in the 10th house. Like what a placement for it to be. And so that means my 6th house would be, you know, from there. So from it's just crazy. So there we go. All right. So the first card, inner power. Inner power. Look at her. She's so beautiful. Just so beautiful. So bringing that inner power. So I think it's feeling like, yeah, we have that inner power with us, is to tap into that inner power that we have, and acknowledging it so that we can bring in the sexuality. Knowing that we're sexy. Having sexual power is powerful, right? It is that inner power that exudes us, that brings out that energy, that oomph within us, and allowing ourselves to step into that beautiful passion and bring in the laughter, to giggle, to laugh. The sexuality, I there's a subscription. It's called History Hint. And in there's this one woman that I followed on TikTok, and um but she's talking about uh the Georgian age and the sexuality of the Georgian age. So if you watch Bridgerton, Bridgerton is based in the Georgian age, and how sexuality and everything was out, is basically in the open to certain, prostitutions, lists of the good girls, the ones that are worth the money, I guess you would say, and to ones that would be your mistress, because you'd have a mistress, Mama. And also the of drugs and alcohol, and and who was sort of the ideal list, who was the one who was getting the fame at the time and stuff. So it's it's very interesting to watch, and it's very interesting to see it all, with that all, and higher consciousness. So through this all brings in the higher consciousness. And yeah, through this all brings in the higher consciousness, and the higher consciousness is all of this, is bringing in all of that, right? So yeah. So I'm gonna just there's oh my god, I haven't even looked at this book for so long. The sexuality one I'm bringing up. Your sexual self needs some attention. So by drawing this card, you are urged to be honest with yourself about your sexuality, and to take the appropriate steps. My sexual self is attractive, healthy, and able to experience great pleasure. Whoa! Bring that in, girls and boys, allowing that to come in, and with a little giggle, and bringing in that inner power, allowing ourselves to step into that inner power, and that brings us into the higher consciousness. Yes, the fairies will guide you. So asking the fairies to guide you in all that you do and all you say and all you be. Have some fun. Get out there, dance. I mean, the thing is that when you're stepping into that power, that beauty of yours, do some movement. Allow yourself some, to reach out, to stretch, to connect. So yeah, lots of fun. Lots of fun. So, you all have a fabulous, fabulous evening, afternoon, morning, whenever you see this. All my sexual shit's healed over. Well, Dana, you just got to get it to move, like get some movement going on, right? Um, that's a big part is moving your body, dancing, singing, things like that. I mean, that's all part of who we are. It's moving that kundalini energy, right? And allowing for that kundalini energy to rise up. Because in rising up and allowing that to rise up allows us to connect with the higher self, right? And that higher uh, consciousness. And a lot of times people think of, sexuality is always intercourse, right? And it's not always intercourse. There's other forms of sexuality. It's the way that we dress. It's the way that we move. It's the way that we feel confident within ourselves. This is why I know it's going to go. This is why you find when women are shrouded, right? When you women are shrouded, um, they're dismissed, they're hidden away, they're not allowed to step into their power because women have a power that is so strong that it scares many people. It scares men, because they don't want women to have that power. But when women step into that power, there's so much we can do and so much that we can overcome and accomplish within that. um, Saint Hildegard, who was a German nun who founded herbalism, wrote about this, and she wrote about many different uh, connections. And it was amazing because I think she was like from the 12th century or the 13th century, when she was writing about this, but she was writing it in a time when women weren't supposed to have a voice or even think those thoughts. But she was coming out and talking about sexuality and even talking about different herbs that help people with their sexuality, and even talking about the herbs that can come in and connect with your confidence. Just, yeah, in a time when it really wasn't allowed. So there is so much power. And a lot of this is like because so many women have been dismissed throughout history, um, and were not spoken about. And I think that's the other part too of why this is coming through. It's preparing us. It's preparing many women, right? Um, Please do a Bible study, Mama. I'm not a Bible, like, I'm not up. I just know different things, different parables within the Bible, and then they come to me. And, it's just like right now, if you know what, I would advise people read the Gospel of John. Go read the Gospel of John. It has some really good tidbits in there. And in just looking at, because the Gospel of John was written by um the one that Jesus loved the most. Um, and it's not written by John the Baptist, or, but it is written by, one who had firsthand of being with Jesus, right? But the Gospel of John, I mean, is really good. Getting into the Old Testament and starting to read it, I know some of the Old Testament, I mean, it can be pretty heavy. I mean, the Old Testament, you can read some of it and you're just like, what the fuck was going on here? Because the Old Testament can, because of, there are times when there were no kings. There are times when, whatever you thought was right was right. And that's what happened, right? So getting into the Old Testament and stuff is can because there's so many layers there, and then you got a lot of the information from the Old Testament that relates to what occurred into the New Testament. So it is when you start looking at it, it's quite interesting. But the book of John, the Gospel of John is quite interesting, and just the connections. And it talks about, I mean, the miracles that Jesus did. My favorite one. My favorite miracle is when his mom said, "Hey, they ran out of wine." And he's like, "Well," and I could just see it because he must have been like, okay, you got to think of when Jesus started coming out, and he was in his late 20s. He's like, "Who are like, mom? Like, come on, it's not really like, why are you telling me this? This is not my issue." It's like, what do you want me to do about it? And then mom just totally dismisses him and just says, "Just do whatever he says, and it'll be okay." She just totally dismisses him. It's like, I don't care if it's not your time, but we ran out of wine. We're at a wedding and we need more wine, son. So get on it. Ah. And it's just, and he did. And okay, fine. Fill up those barrels with the water, and then go give it to the maitre d' of the wedding. And it was a big wedding. It was supposedly like it was a very large wedding. That wedding was like sort of it brought in many different tribes coming into this wedding. So it was a very central wedding of that time. So it'd be somebody who was elite, who was um getting married. And it was and there was a relation to Mary. There was a relationship to Mary. Now, getting into Mary's genealogy is very interesting as well. Yeah, make some swish. Get on it, son. So this is when you read these different things, and it brings you into really understanding the faith and understanding how to have faith within yourself, and that connection of faith that is with you. Go to Catholic school. Yes. But giving that understanding is it's important. I think it's important to understand a lot of holy books that are out there, because when it just gives you sort of a clarity of it. I've read bits and pieces of the Quran, and it's again, you see what is written, and then you see what is happening. You're just like, what the fuck? That it doesn't make any sense, right?
Can I have another donut?
And going from there. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see how things are unfolding. So just a disclaimer, I don't follow well, I think we all follow some kind of dogma, but not promoting any religion to you. Just want to promote some love and joy and peace to y'all so that you can all be healed. Oh, the prophecy. Oh, the Psalms. The Psalms are another one. Psalms are used in many the Psalms are used in many spells. The Psalms are spells, you know, and they're used in many different in in banishing, in protection. They're used to bring forth different, different things that you need in your life. So the Psalms are a very powerful um, book as well, and reading the this book of Psalms. So there you go. There's your Bible study for today, everyone. So, but I want you all to have a beautiful day, and may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say and all you be and all you do. And may the Lord and Lady watch over you guys. Be kind to yourself this weekend. Be kind to others. All right. To blow off that sugar rush. I know. Yeah, we'll go up to the park. It's kind of chilly outside, but we'll drive up to the park. I'm not into going for any long walks today. I took some, I've had 4 Advils today so far since I've woken up. I think 4. Yeah, 4. Yeah, because my body's just been in such pain. That's the other reason I'm going to take it easy is um, you think that you're doing well, and then I try and move, and I'm just like, what? Body don't want to move that way right now. It's pretty stiff, but you know what? One step at a time. One step at a time. Anyways, have a great one, everybody, and we will talk to you very soon. Sending you so much love. Let's send out the word about my sale. If it's tell people. Give me a like, subscribe, and all of that kind of stuff to get the algorithm so Mama can get the vibe back out there to everybody else, right? So have a blessed one, everyone. And we'll go out with the ducks. Love you.